look back at some of Nolan Ryan's more memorable moments. Well, I know a lot of us have great memories of those. We're building great memories here as the Rangers CEO joins us every Friday night during Rangers home games. Are you one of those guys, Nolan, who remembers those moments like they were yesterday?
No, I don't. You know, I always marveled at Pete Rose. Pete Rose could remember at-bats, counts, everything, you know, the day and stuff. And gosh, next day I'm trying to figure out certain pitches, the hitters, you know, and counts. I just didn't have that ability. And I don't know, maybe it's because I didn't put that much importance on it. And so people would ask me, say, hey, you know what today is? And I'm going, no, not really, you know. So, and not that it is not important to me. It's just that's not how I'm made up.
Well, that's why we have video now. We have video reminders left and right. Also some video reminders, Nolan, of Derek Holland's last few outings. He has been trying to get that 10th win for the last 6 starts, making his 7th go at it. You know, he hadn't gotten some run support in a few of those starts. Last 2, he just flat out lost. What are you seeing from him right now?
Well, you know, I think that you know, it goes back to what you said. He didn't get run support, and he pitched well, and then he had a couple of games here at the end that I think he has a tendency with his delivery to rush, and he gets his arm down and doesn't locate the ball as well as you'd like him to, and I think that gets him in trouble. And I think what we've had here is some of the guys trying to do more than they should, or just not staying within themselves and having the mindset that they have to do more.
Now, Nolan, does the lack of not having a true ace, does that really have an effect on the staff, or is there somebody on that staff that really feels that they are? And is having a true ace necessary?
Well, you know, that's a tough question. And what you hope is that you have somebody in your rotation that if you go through a period where you're not winning, somebody steps up and gives you that good performance, that little extra something that stops the losing streak and just gives everybody a breather. But you know, we have, in my opinion, several starters that's capable of doing that, but we've just hit a period here where none of them have really pitched that well, and so I think it just magnifies things.
Is that surprising to you that someone, and I know it's not as easy as a guy saying, hey, I'm going to go out and end the run today, if you will. Is it surprising to you, though, that someone hasn't quite stepped up maybe a little bit more than you would have liked?
Well, you know, you look at Hughes' last home game here, he pitched really well, but we ran into another pitcher that was truly on his game, and the fact that you know, that we've been struggling trying to score runs. It was a bad combination for us, and I thought that was one of the best games Hughes had pitched, and so it's just hasn't worked out for some reason. But what we really need is have somebody step up in this rotation that pitches a really outstanding game where they just dominate the opposition.
Well, Nolan, okay, I like to keep it simple. What does Derek Holland need to do tonight to shut down this A's offense?
He's got to keep his fastball down. He's got to use both sides of the plate with it, and he has to throw his changeup for strikes. I think what got him in trouble out there was that he was missing down with his changeup, and it was down enough that they were able to pick it up and knew that it wasn't a strike, and so the differential didn't really affect them as much as the read they got off of it.
I understand hindsight is perfectly 20/20, but as you look back on the trade deadline, is there anything that you might have wished this team had done differently?
Well, when you look at us right now, you'd say, well, yeah, we'd like to pick up a hitter or two, you know. You know, at the trade deadline, we didn't know for sure we were going to lose Nelson. So, you know, I think we miss his bat. And the fact that Berkman's been down so long and hasn't been the hitter that he was first part of the season for us. And I think we miss having another big bat in that lineup, you know, that somebody that would help shoulder some of the load that I think some of our hitters are trying to maybe fill that role when maybe that isn't their really what type of hitter that they are.
Nolan, always a pleasure. I have to ask very quickly, are you superstitious with this being Friday the 13th?
No, I'm not. You know, I used to tell my teammates that were superstitious that it was a weakness of the mind, and it used to really hack them off. But I think we all are to some degree, mainly when things are going well. And I have to admit that, you know, I find myself doing the same things when I was in a good stretch, and I'm sure Mike did too.
The NBA draft is underway. The Mavericks have the 13th pick in the first round, the 44th in the second round, Steve. And this is something that's kind of new to us because the Mavericks having a lottery pick, that's something they haven't had since the 2000 season. And the Mavericks have usually been a team that you could bet on trading. This year, I don't even know if they're going to do that.
Nobody knows what they're going to do. Well, they never needed the draft for a decade plus, 12 years, because they were too good. And by the way, I love the fact that you're doing the show right in the middle of the action.
Can we show the action? Do you want to show it?
The only place that could be better would be the Admiral Club up there with Dirk, who's in the room, with Finley and all the brass. But the only shots we're allowed to get, as we show you, I love Dirk. We need help left and right. I mean, what they need to do is rebuild a team. And that starts tonight. They can only do that with the draft, and then the free agency period, that starts July 1st, and that all starts tonight.
Yeah, this is the start of the new NBA season. From my point of view, it's the start of the new season, and there's so much to get to tonight. Let's focus on Dirk, because he came in, he sounded like Mavericks president of basketball operations, Donnie Nelson, saying, well, Cubes could trade down. I mean, he sounded just like the way Donnie would approach us whenever he comes and meets with the media before the draft.
And by the way, he hinted he may do that in the future. Did you hear that?
He did. I was
going
to get to that.
He hinted that he may go to front office work with the Mavericks when he's done playing.
Admitted that he does not have a face for TV, perhaps a face for radio, a la Chuck Cooperstein, our friend on ESPN Radio.
That was fun.
Nice little dig at Chuck. But said that, potentially something with a basketball team. He feels like the Mavericks would like to keep him around. He also mentioned that he has been in contact with Dwight Howard. That Dwight Howard, he has texted him. It's not like they're on the phone every single day, but he says he has been in contact with him. Can't quite read his temperature, although I don't think anybody can read Dwight Howard's temperature. You can't.
I mean, it's like Darren Williams making the decision last year. I mean, every team in this sweepstakes for Dwight Howard is at the mercy of a Dwight Howard decision. You know, and of course, Chris Broussard had the big story on ESPN today that he doesn't want to go back to the Lakers, and he's going to meet with Dallas, Houston, and Atlanta before he meets with the Lakers. And Broussard's piece actually from Dwight Howard said the Mavericks could be the front runner, which, man, that's exciting for Mavs fans if it's true.
Because it's a good system for Dallas, because it would be a good place for him, the way Rick Carlisle would use him, be a very center-friendly kind of offense here in Dallas. But the Lakers, they don't want him to go quietly. They've actually erected a couple of billboards all over Los Angeles, one at the Staples Center and one right on Hollywood Boulevard. They're using the hashtag StayD12. They're trying to recruit him. The Buss family is doing all it can to try and keep him. This is intriguing to me. I wouldn't be surprised if he came here. I really didn't want the hot mess that is Dwight Howard. I've said this a lot.
Yeah.
But it's kind of intriguing. They could use him. There's no doubt about it.
Here's the thing. I mean, again, Mavs fans, I get it. You got your heart broken last year. I was not the type of kid that believed Superman was going to fly down and save the day. I just wasn't that kind of kid, and I don't believe it now. It's hard for Mavs fans to get to a position of hope after what happened last offseason that Dwight Howard's going to swoop in here and save the day. I don't see it.
He did indicate that he wants to have a decision done on July 10th when new business can officially be signed for the new year for the 2013-2014 season. Free agency begins on the 1st, but there's a moratorium on contracts basically being signed and executed until July 10th. Okay, what about tonight? The Mavericks have the 13th overall pick for the first time in team history. Now, it's since they haven't picked 13th before. Let's kind of get an idea of what they've got in that 10 to 15 range. And if you look over the past, 20 plus years, it's been a big bag of nothing. Etan Thomas back in 2000 with the 12th pick. Of course, you know who my favorite pick is back in 1983 with the 11th overall selection. That would be one.
From Illinois.
From Illinois. The University of the great Derek Harper. They selected Dell Ellis 9th. In that draft as well. What are your expectations for tonight?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I know.
And I really believe that the Mavericks, they know what all the options are. They've studied it, obviously, as closely as they can, but I don't think they know which trigger they're going to pull until they're on the clock and that moment comes, because things can change. What are the interests in trade for that 13th pick, and what's the value, and what are they trying to accomplish? I believe whatever they do tonight will be to help them in the Dwight Howard sweepstakes.